You need to wash that off. When you go stomping through shit, all the way up your knees by the time you're done. I'm surprised the Bulletproof 2 didn't get me all the way up here. Oh, hello! I'm Scotty. You're not. Spoiler alert from my first video, I guess. Welcome back to what is right now my final. Well, I have another top 10 I would like to do, but I'll get to it eventually. But final one on movie sequels, I guess. So this is the top 10 sequels better than the original. And of course, there's a bunch of good sequels out there. But as I said in my last one, while trying to get ones that are better than the original, there really was not a bunch. At least in my... And again, it was subjective. So this is my opinion. Right? My opinion. This is my top 10. Of course, honorable mentions, but I have way less honorable mentions than I do in the last one. So this video will be a little bit shorter, but... yeah, so we'll start off with number 10. And I have said that I will tout this. I will go to the mountaintops and say this is one of the best sequels ever made. Directed by Stuart Raffel. That's right. It's Mannequin 2 on the move, baby. I will die on that hill. This is better. Okay? I like the story plotline better. You can't go wrong with Terry Kaiser as the villain. I feel like William Ragsdale, I want to say Zach Galligan. William Ragsdale is a better lead. I like Andrew McCarthy, and that his character works, but I feel like the stumbling over is better with him. Because Andrew McCarthy could play the cool guy in a movie, to be a little more smooth. He has Goofy. Watch Weekend at Bernie's for Goofy, but I think William Ragsdale plays more goof. Watch Fright Night with more goof from him, and I like Christy Swanson better. I've never been attracted to Kim Cattrall, personally. To me, she was always, for those kind of actresses, people are like, oh, Meryl Streep is so hot, and Julia Roberts is so hot. To me, they've always been older than me, and it's they're like mom age. They're above. I'm not saying I wouldn't have had the chance. I never had the chance. But Christy Swanson was also older than me. But, she's more attractive to me. And I like the plot better in this one. I like that they go all out. The first one's a little subdued. She's an Egyptian princess who comes to Earth, and no one can see her. This one, everyone can see her. And it's just balls to the walls. There's an ancient king or something, or an evil prince or something, and then, it's just fun. It's fun. Nothing wrong with fun, right? Number 9 is The Expendables 2. With Jean-Claude Van Damme as the villain, what were you expecting? This one, Chuck Norris is in this. Rest in peace, by the way. By the way, Chuck Norris did not die. He just decided he didn't want to be on Earth anymore. You do not kill Chuck Norris kills you. And that is the cold hard truth. That did not knock on Chuck Norris's door. Chuck Norris said, I'm ready to go now. That's got to be the best one. Chuck Norris knocked on his door and said, I'm ready to go now. But yeah, Chuck Norris is in this. Arnold gets a little bit bigger role in this, And, I feel like the villain, I don't remember who's the villain in the first one. Robert Davi? Was Robert Davi? Nah, Van Damme is the better villain. And I keep waiting for because they had the idea to bring Van Damme back as the twin brother. People are like, well, that's a little bit too far. But in a cheesy action franchise, come on. And they haven't done it. But, yeah, it works. And, yeah, it is it's the best of the sequels, to be honest. 3 was a letdown. I still think 3 is the worst one. People don't like Expendables 4. It was fine. It was clearly supposed to be a spin-off. But then they had cold feet of calling it... Because when Stallone announced it was supposed to be a spin-off, he did a reel. He was like, oh, it's a spin-off. We're in there, but it's not going to be all of us. It's a spin-off. It's codenamed The Christmas Story. But then the studio obviously got cold feet and went, no, we have to call Expendables 4. But it's still obviously Jason Statham's movie because Stallone is presumed dead for most of it. Where this one, this one was also the action. And I still don't know why Liam Hemsworth was in here. He dies at the beginning. Spoiler alert, but yeah. 8. So I said in my worst one, there's some that be on nobody's list, which Mannequin 2 is probably not on this list. Anyway, but this one is probably on no one's list, but it's a sequel that's very much better than the first film, and that's a Disney Channel original movie sequel known as Jumping Ship. Sequel to the film Horse Sense. I originally had Spider-Man 2 on this list. It's not on the list. It's on the honorable mentions because I feel like Spider-Man 2 has gone down. But I didn't want to put No Way Home on this. But this should also be an honorable mention. Hold on. There. But Jumping Ship, to me, is a big upgrade from the first one. The first one was a story about guy's cousin comes to visit him, but he's too busy with his own life, pushes him away. So then he is forced to go help out at the ranch that the cousin lives on, and the cousin decides to get revenge on him. What I do like about that movie is towards the end it does get better, where he realizes he's got to help them keep the farm. I like that. And then the movie ends, and you're like, okay, I could have had a whole movie of him trying to help them save the farm, instead of the goofy, he fallen horsey poopy, oh ho ho ho. Oh look, he moved all those over there by hand, but he could have used that to do it. Oh ho ho. I know it's for kids, but Jumping Ship is an action-adventure comedy film that works. And it's so much better. There's so much better pace. There's so much going on with it. It's so much better. Number 7 is X-Men. Only be between 2 movies. Because Logan is not a sequel to X-Men. It's a spin-off. There is a Future Past. Yeah, for the longest time, 2 was the best. But Days of Future Past usurps that. It's too bad that every other film after it actively tried to ignore it. Whether it was bringing back the original films to continuity, only to them completely ignore it in the next film by having Angel somehow be around in the 80s when he would have been a child at that point. Like, oh, but this movie erased Days of Future Past. Or, this movie erased The Last Stand. Sure. But it doesn't change when people were born. All of a sudden, Jubilee and Angel are in the 80s. So people put on Nightcrawler. But Alan Cumming was like 40 when he was filming that. And so actually that could work. Him being a teenager in the 80s could have worked. He's the only one that works with the repositioning of his character. But it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't have already known him. See what I mean? That's Apocalypse. But this one sticks to the landing. The road cut is actually pretty good too. But I can see why they did the stuff. This works. No. Number 6 is Christmas Vacation. I mentioned European Vacation in my honorable mention. This honorable mention is the last one. But yes, Christmas Vacation. I know that everyone loves the original movie, but you cannot sit there and tell me that Christmas Vacation is not the better film in that franchise. It's got to be the best one. It's the one everybody quotes. Everyone, everyone loves. It's absolutely better than the original. This is another one that no one will argue with at all. Number 5, they'll argue that it's down so low. But number 5 is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. You have been, and shall always be, my friend. Khan! Yes, this is a classic. Let me tell you, it's, yeah. What can I say? Everyone knows it's better than the original. Star Trek the motion picture is such a slog. And then you watch this when you're like, this is so much better. This is so much better. And I know I need to get back to these. And to start the next generation movies, but I did. I know. I have quite a few things to finish this. The Quentin Tarantino series. But, yeah. Number 4 could have had, with this franchise I'm talking about, could have had quite a few. Whether it's GoldenEye, or... Actually, there's way too many to count. But it was between GoldenEye and the one I picked. And even though I grew up with GoldenEye, and I played the video game, I have a lot of nostalgia for that. In recent years, I have realized that Goldfinger is a superior Bond film. I know a lot of people be like, oh, blasphemy? GoldenEye is great. I don't know. The more I think about GoldenEye, I think Goldfinger is a better villain than Alec. Because, like, you have the Russian guy, Automov, is his name? Whatever his name is. That's a villain for the first part. And then, like, Janos, we can find Janos, and then it's just him. Hello, James. Goldfinger's the villain throughout the entire film. And it works. You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. I don't think it works better. And I like the golf scene when they're playing together. Where it's like, he gets pissed off. It's like, if that's his ball, then I'm the... It's not his ball. How do you know? Because I have it. It's just fantastic. Now, number 3 is another one that people will never argue based on this list, but again, they think it should be higher, and that's Aliens. I had Alien 3 in my worst horror sequels, and I said before, I don't count Aliens as a horror movie. It's sci-fi action to me. It's just more action elements in it than horror, but yeah, game over, man, game over. And how do I get out of this chicken shit outfit? It's just, yeah, it's great. Burke is a bitch-ass villain. You just... But Paul Reiser plays pretty good, you know? Which makes you question him on Stranger Things, but it turns out he's actually the good one. Better than Papa. And I still want to know, is he dead or what? Cause, yeah, but and even Paul Reiser himself said it's because of Aliens that people question what I'm doing. They don't know. They don't question me. They don't trust me. And that's because of Aliens, and that's really good. That's my Paul Reiser impression, by the way. But yeah, like, yeah, Aliens. One of the best movies ever made. What else can I say? Right? Another one, number 2, is T2. Hasta la vista, baby. These are like prerequisites, I think. They have to be on this list. The Star Trek 2, Aliens, and this are the 3 that have to be on your list somewhere. So that's where it is. And this is number 2. T2 is number 2. Best version of John Connor, though I do like Nick Stahl. Sue me. I think Arnold's at his best in this one. Clearly, Sarah Connor's at her best in this one because she dies after this. And then they recast her for Chan. But, yeah, the action is good. When you know that they actually do some of the stuff and it's not all CGI, like that truck falling off the thing and chasing them, that happened. They did that. The helicopter stuff, they did that. It's not special effects. Exploding when the T-1000 blows up, they did that. That's an actual statue of Robert Patrick. They blew up. It's not special effects. The only CGI used is for the liquid metal effects. And some of the stuff with Arnold. But other than that, they did that. They really did that. So yeah. Now we get to the honorable mentions. So we have the Transporter 2, which I feel is better than the first one, but not better than the third one. That's the one with the kid. That's the good one. Short Circuit 2, which I'll always say is better than the first film, because that's the one I watched the most. And Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I wanted to fit on this list somewhere, and it's still better than the first one. American Tail 5 Goes West, I Will Die on That Hill 2, is better than the first one. Nobody 2, yeah, I think I'm the only one who liked it better than the first one. It was like, oh, it's okay, but it's not as bad as the first one. I'm like, suddenly you're going, are you on drugs? It was definitely better than the first one. Shanghai Nights, sequel to Shanghai Noon. And again, it's another case of I saw it first, but I've watched both films subsequently many times, and I'm just like, no, this movie is better. Just is. I'm not a big Western guy myself, but so I think it works better to be like a Knights kind of movie. Tron Legacy, definitely better than the first film. Godzilla King of the Monsters, and that's the newest one, not the American version of Gojira. I'm talking about the one with Millie Bobby Brown. That one's better than the American version of Godzilla. We don't see him at all. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Damn it, Azkaban. Yes, to this day, I think it's still the best Harry Potter movie, and it's better than Sorcerer's Stone. So, yeah. Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home, and my final one on this list is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That is only not in my top 10 because it's technically a prequel, but I had to put my honorable mentions. The number one sequel, better than the first film is that's right, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. In every way, shape, and form, this movie, to be fair, Civil War is also better than the first Avenger. And the first Avenger is not a bad movie. Captain America, the first Avenger, is not a bad movie. But, the Russos, the first one the Russos did, they put out all the stops in this. And it's one thing, yes, everyone knew from reading the comics or in the trailer that Bucky was going to come back as the Winter Soldier. But the twist that Hydra was secretly back was really good. It's too bad that they completely ignored that after this. Like, oh yeah, Hydra's here. Oh, they're going to be a big part of Age of Ultron. No, never mind. Never mind, they captured the guy who was in charge of Hydra. And he's dead now, thanks to Ultron. And then we never mention Hydra again. What was the point of bringing him back? It was a nice twist, but if you go beyond this movie, it's just like they were like, okay, you can bring him back, but we're not gonna. It's like Secret Invasion, right? But Feige's like, hey, you can do Secret Invasion. We're not gonna ever talk about it, but you can do it. Just make sure Nick Fury is in space by the end of that show, and then never bring it up again. It pissed me off that in the Marvels they didn't once bring up, oh, by the way, Carol, Talos is dead. No. But yeah. And then, to me, this is still my favorite. To me, this is still the best MCU movie. Beyond the Infinity Wars and the Endgames, that's still the best. So there you have it. I clearly need to blow my nose because my nose. I need to do this. I don't need tissues here. I have to go get a box. So, what are your top 10 best sequels of all time? Don't so much like, share, and subscribe with my clicker. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.